Hello, brothers and sisters. I am so excited for this topic today. So, to begin, I know some people might think, okay, what is this monitoring spirit thing in the Bible? You might as well just Google it and then AI will tell you, okay? So, we don't have to talk about that in this episode because I want to keep it short and intense. So just to let you know what you can expect as we going into this episode, I'm going to talk about monitoring spirit. What are monitoring spirit and what is the difference and how they function. And then we're going to talk about discernment, how to discern a monitoring spirit, whether that is in a human or in animals. So I know a lot of you already knew that there are monitoring spirit in people, but it might take you to the next level once I talk about monitoring spirit in animals. So why in animal is a next level? This is related to my previous episode when I was talking about, I think it's principalities and the glory of the kingdom of the world. So you can check that episode. Monitoring spirit in animal are usually associated with the attack from the principality in your area. So we're going to talk about discernment, how to discern monitoring spirit in human and how they expose themselves, okay? So how you can be sure that, okay, you are being monitored and those people are the monitoring spirit. Likewise, we're also going to talk about monitoring spirit in animal. So what are the behavior patterns of this animal? How do you know? Are they just normal animal or are they sent by witches? And how you can be sure? At first you might be doubting, okay, are this like monitoring spirit or not? But once at the end, we're gonna talk about how you can be sure this animal are definitely monitoring spirit. They're not just normal animal. And I'm gonna share with you my personal testimony. It's gonna blow your mind, okay? So, and I'll also talk about a little bit through my testimony about the importance of anointing your house. And I will tell you how to anoint your house. To begin with, okay? Just in case you never heard about monitoring spirit. Monitoring spirits are demonic spirits. So they are spirits, okay? So if they are spirits, they need a body. And demonic spirit definitely love human bodies. But when they cannot find human bodies or human bodies are not very helpful. For example, God hides you somewhere, okay? God hides you somewhere and you are in your season of isolation. And you have this discernment about people. And it's very hard to pry up your mouth, to leak your secret to monitoring spirit. Listen, but the enemy still wanted to know what is going on. So that's when they have to send animals. It's not their first choice, but that's how they get you. So this is what I'm saying. If the devil starts sending you animals, you can be sure you are in the next level of your spiritual warfare. Not everybody who have the monitoring spirit have this willingly. So you know what I mean. They knew not what they do, right? There are two different types. So first type are monitoring spirit, they are sent. The second type, they are used. You can pretty much distinguish from them just by the literal meaning. So when they are sent, there is this principality, this organization of the enemy that in that area, they notice you. So they send people to approach you, to pretend that they're interested in your life, they care about you, and they start digging up information. They start spying on you. And we can talk about that later, in the discernment part on how exactly they do that. And so when a monitoring spirit is sent, They are sent by the principalities. So every time a Christian enter an area, especially if that area is spiritually dead. So what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter how many churches are there, how many people there um, worship God with their mouth, how many Catholics are there, how many religious activities going on there. If there are no real Christian, that area is dark. If there are no Christian that are led by the Spirit, that burn the fire of the Holy Ghost, that has the power of God with them, that whole area in the spiritual realm is dark. So when a Christian who carried this fire, and as Jesus said, you are the light of the world. You are the light. And when you enter into darkness, you expose the darkness. It's impossible for those bugs in the darkness to not see the light. So this is what happened. When you enter into a dark zone in the spirit, when you enter into the enemy's territory, they notice you right away. You bother them so much. So before you even get into it, when you are just approaching, when they feel like you're close, they will try to stop you from entering. But if they can't, then they're going to start sending agents to deal with you. It's very important that you don't just move to any physical location randomly. I know a lot of people have this dream of traveling the world, right? Travel and be a digital nomad and work anywhere you want. Listen to me. If you are a Christian, a devoted one, I don't care like how much you struggle. If you have the desire to devote to God, that desire itself threatens the enemy. So this is why I mentioned in my video why God favor men full of desire, though lack of character. Because God can shape your character down the road as long as you have a strong desire. Your desire is not even yours. It's given from God from the beginning, and the devil know that. So your desire alone is enough to threaten the enemy. And you guys know I am all about when God move you, you have to move. You kind of need to live like Abraham. You're in a tent. You're ready to go whenever God calls you. That is how you know you fully surrender to God. You live for Him. Wherever He wants you to go, you move. But you don't want it to go yourself. You don't want it to move to a location, and I'm not talking about physical location, presumptuously. Because, just because you want to move there and you twist it like, oh, God want me to move there. The danger in that is you have to deal with the principality. And if you are not sent by God, you are not ready to deal with the principality in that area you're trying to enter. And a lot of people, when this happens, when they presumptuously go to a place, move to a place, God didn't tell them to, but they want to go there. And they're not ready to deal with the principality there. A lot of those people backslide in that area right away, okay? They all of a sudden don't want to pray. They stop reading the Bible. They are carried away by the manners of the nation that's around them. Just like, Israelite. But of course, Israelite are sent. But what I'm saying is that when you move to a land, a physical location, there are principality, a new principality you have to face, and they want you to become like the inhabitants in that land. They want you to forget about the way of God, the law of God. So you become like them. So you die slowly without even knowing. When I say die, I'm saying dying spiritually, slowly, without even knowing. It's like boiling a frog in a slowly heated water. And eventually the frog is not able to jump out. That is their strategy. So This is what I'm saying. Again, don't just go to a place because you wanted to and you twist it and you convince yourself, and your heart is deceitful. Who can know it, right? You have to be sure God sent you to that place. Because if God sent you, his spirit goes before you and he goes with you, as Deuteronomy said. So you'd have nothing to fear. And usually God is not going to send you to a place when you're not ready. Okay, you are ready, that you are ready to deal with the principality there. You're strong enough to deal with them, with the power of God with you. And it's the same, for from the enemy side, they send agents to Christians that bother them in that area, because they know that if you continue to live here, okay, you are gonna change the environment because you are the salt, right? Remember what I said before? I think I mentioned it in many of my content. You are the salt. What does that mean? Whenever salt enter into any solution, it flavors it. And it doesn't matter how late it enters, right? You can put salt in a dish when you're cooking it, before you cook it, and you can also put salt in it after you already serve on the table. It always changes the flavor. It doesn't matter. So even if you come to a place kind of late, you're delayed, okay? You're delayed, but as soon as you enter, and that place is surely gonna change. The spiritual environment is disturbed because of you. So they can't bear that. So the enemy will continue to send all kinds of agents to deal with you. So remember that. When monitoring spirits are sent, and just so you know, monitoring spirits are only one type of demonic spirit, okay? There are many other types. There are types that are more evil than this. But here we're going to focus on this type. So when they're sent by principalities in your area because they are threatened. Now, the second type, monitoring spirits, they are used. So this type are the weak vessel, human, because animals cannot be used. If a monitoring spirit is an animal, they're always sent by local witches. But monitoring spirit, when they are used, they're always in human. It could be some people that they could even be Christian, okay? Or at least they think they're Christian. And they will ask you some question, and they have this gossip spirit in them, and they accidentally leak your information to other people, and that person happened to be an agent of the enemy. So it's not like this person intentionally are sent by the devil. They are often people who are used as monitoring spirit are often Christian. They're often the weak Christian in the church. And when I say weak Christian, I'm saying that Christians that are living in sin and don't want to repent. So technically, I would just say they're not Christian. But just in case, some people are offended. So they're kind of Christian, but they're too weak to guard their mouth. And they enjoy gossiping. And they gossip. And as soon as they gossip too much. And chances are some of those information about you will be given to the enemy. And the enemy now know how to attack you. So why your information is important. Let's say that, sometimes people don't know about your generational curses. But if you talk about it to pretty much everyone, listen, if you talk your generational curses to everyone, unless you're speaking to this person and they have a solution for you, and you just want to share all the family history to some random person, and they have no power, no knowledge, no fruits in their life to prove that they are from God, they are the servant of the Lord, and you tell them about your family history, your family generational curses, and they tell that to somebody else, and that somebody else is a demonic agent, And now they know how to attack you. For example, if they got information that you have a problem with lust, they are gonna send woman or man to your way and to steal your destiny. And we're gonna talk about that in the sermon part, okay? And they're gonna know what is the exact type you cannot resist. They know the exact type of woman you cannot resist, and they will always send that type of woman. All of this is because of monitoring spirit. They have like a book of information about you. Now we move on to the next part, discernment. How to discern monitoring spirit in human, and how to discern monitoring spirit in animals. Okay, you are gonna be so entertained once you reach the part about animals. Okay, monitoring spirit in human. I think this is much easier, but sometimes if you're not on guard, or you're just too lonely, just enjoy talking about yourself. This is why pride and insecurity are always taken advantage of by the devil, because we all love to talk about ourselves, right? And if somebody asks you and you almost feel flattered, you feel obliged to answer them, and those people are monitoring spirits. So when monitoring spirits are inhuman, number one, how you can discern is they love to ask questions and in detail. Okay, at first it's just random question. Oh, how you doing? How do you do? And then they start digging information, and you can feel it. Like they will ask you about your family or what's going on. They want to know the detail of everything, like or why your relationship didn't work out, or what is going on in your marriage. And they're gonna ask you about your income, even, or how do you make money. You might not be comfortable. Most people's not never gonna tell people, how exactly I made every week, every month, every year. But they're gonna ask you like your source of income and how did you make that work. Like they will be very interested in this kind of thing, and about your children. Second discernment about human is that this type you're not gonna know. Okay, you are not gonna know, but you feel it in your spirit. And this one is they stalk your social media. I never understand why people have social media if they don't have a business. Listen, you know how many housewives love to post on Facebook, and they got all the information about your family. And how do you know those people are monitoring spirit? They they see your stories, and if it's Instagram, you can see who see your stories, right? And Facebook, you don't know, but you will find there's a lot of people they see your story, they see your post, but they never comment, never like. They just watch, they just watch. You don't have to deal with this type. The only thing you can do is to stop giving out your information online to people you don't even know, and to people who don't have your interest at heart at all, even those people, your family member, your friends, okay, even some people in your church, okay. And I talk about not every monitoring spirit are sent as a demonic agent. Some of those are used, they are weak vessel. So there are a lot of this type are stalking your social media, and they will be used by the enemy, unconsciously, because of this evil in their heart. Because why would people stalk someone else? It's jealousy, and jealousy is hatred. They hate you, but they also want some of the things you have. Okay, let's move on to the third point about the sermon monitoring spirit in human. How they expose themselves. People who stalk you online will expose themselves, okay? I don't know if you're in my Substack group chat, if you have a Substack app. Chances are, if you have probably noticed in the past, there are some weird people, and they are women, okay? My audiences are, the major audiences are men. Every time when there are women subscribe to me, I give extra attention. because I know my content, it's a little bit offensive for a lot of women. Like if they can listen and get the message and benefit from it, this woman are gold. Okay, they're not ordinary women. They are true daughters of God. So I give extra attention to my sister. However, you guys probably noticed that in the past, when I say in the past, that was before April, all the way until April this year, there are often some women in my Substack group chat that just jump out and say something that's totally weird, that's demonic, and that was like kind of like challenging whatever we're discussing in that thread. And then especially when it comes to like lust, when it comes to addiction, lust, when it comes to fasting, especially every time I call for a fast, there are some weirdos, there are some women will jump out and challenge. Oh, why is this? Oh, isn't that, they're just causing trouble. And then let me tell you how many of this woman I discovered. It's like about 3 to 5 of them in my impression. And some of them I noticed on their Substack homepage, they are not Christian. Or it doesn't matter what they put on their bio, okay? They're not Christian. You can see from the content they consume. And some of them don't consume anything. They pretty much come to Substack directly to my ministry. Why? Let me tell you why. There are a lot of men in my channel. There are a lot of men in my Substack group. And those women, they're trying to figure out what is going on here. And they're trying to tempt some of our brothers away. Okay? So what is going on? Why April? Why after April? You might notice ever since April, they disappear. Haha, why? Let me tell you why. So all of this thing I'm talking about, you can track it. Okay? It's not like I'm just talking about it. They're still preserved in the Substack group chat. But I have to say, you cannot find those witches comment anymore because I removed them, I kicked them out, and I blocked them. But this one, what I'm talking about, you can track. In April, that was during Passover, that week, from Passover to Easter, that very week, okay? I wake up after a woman was challenging because I was saying that, okay, I want to start a Passover fast and even Easter fast. That both 2 weekend I was calling for us to have a fast with me. And then there's this woman was like challenging, like, oh, didn't they have a feast on Passover? I didn't give her much attention, okay? At least at that point I wasn't. But then I check his Substack, I start feeling something weird. She is like the things she consumes very witchy. And then that very night, I woke up with this revelation. The Lord told me that woman is a witch. Oh my goodness, that woman is a witch. That was how I just wake up with this revelation in the middle of the night. And I think that night was a full moon night. And I woke up and I went to my balcony. I watched at the moon. And I think was like before I go to sleep, the next day night, I posted on Substack notes and inside a group chat. It shocked some people when I say that because it is so radical. I was basically giving the final warning to those witches. And I'm saying